Why's that got a yellowish tint? Huh. Interesting. Alright. Well, I wasn't happy with any of this, actually. The more I've been thinking about this the past few days, I'm kind of glad that it already hardened up on me, and I'm really just trying to shave it down to flatten it out a little bit. It's not as lumpy dumpy as it was. I started thinking about the fact that the waves and the ocean and the beach are going to be a lot more dashy. Let's put it that way. That's not really a word, but whatever. And so I wanted to bring this down a bit, make this a little more of a, I don't know if flat tone's right. That's not really that's going to end up being, I think I'll have some variety. I'm just scraping off, like I said, some of these. Maybe it's a little thick. Maybe almost like sanding. There won't be much bad singing tonight. I think it's a classical music night. I need to concentrate. Hope I'm not scraping off canvas. That would be bad. I think I am. We'll find out, I guess, in 200-300 years. Starts degrading and it wants to like repair to it. And this. It's starting to harden up on me anyway. Now we're going to need a lot more than that now at this point. Basically doing the best I can to kind of grind it up so when I add the medium and stuff back to it, it'll actually be a fairly consistent order. What brush we're using? Is this one? Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Again, a little shorter of an episode, 8:45 tonight is when we shut down because of Walking Dead. So it's probably not going to be a much of an issue because once the first half is done and they've killed off Rick, I'm probably done with the show. I did decide it was a beer night, so to anybody out there, salute, motherfuckers. I have a little left in the one bottle, so. Some good shit. Some yummy, yummy. Pop all of that over again. And we may actually pick up a color or two, like there's still gonna be, like now that we opened up the wounds, so to speak. Get your bitch asses in there. Skin. Next up from there. Chop it down, chop it down. But I was looking at like kind of some other paintings. older ones and stuff where I kind of thought, this is just not really there anymore. Like, and where it looked too busy, and I was like, you know what? If I tone down the sky a little, just make it much more of a, smoother color transition, not so dashy. Leave all that good stuff for the ocean. It should be a little more balanced. Like a concept between chaos and order, So how was everyone's weekend, huh? Well, the one person's weekend. How was your weekend? It's probably my mother. Sorry, I know her weekend was because I was like with her half the weekend. Alright, rough GG shit. Let's do it the good way. Alrighty, kids. Don't try that head-on, kids. I'm a professional idiot. I guess that counts as professional, right? I got paid once or twice. Sometimes I think begrudgingly, but... falls off. He was looking like he was about to commit suicide there. He was like ready to jump. He'll probably have to throw more on there. That's alright. Nothing will ever be as insane as I did this one painting of some lemons. It's still upstairs in my parents' attic. It's a terrible painting, actually. I was immediately reacting to some like crazy, like the crazy amounts of impasto that I wasn't really aware. I mean, I know Van Gogh painted impasto. That's not in debate. There were some where it was like, oh my god, I didn't realize they were that thick. Like when I finally seen them in person, it was like, holy shit, these things are like thick. And so I was kind of reacting to that badly. Like I just wanted to see if I could control paint that thick, and so like the whole background. I think I used 4 tubes of yellow ochre. 4 or 5 maybe. And I'm talking 200 milliliter tubes. Actually, 200? Yeah, 200 milliliter tubes. Couldn't remember if they were 2 or 225. But I just went nuts. And the painting, literally, if you tilt it a little bit back, it sinks in. Hey, Tomcat, how are you? What's going on tonight? Yes, I am. Yep. West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground. That's where I spent most of my days. No, I'm just actually just outside of it, but I attended school in Philly, at the University of Arts. No, I'm not a football fan. I pretty much am just stuck to hockey and baseball. So I love my Flyers. I love my Phillies. I used to work for the Phillies too, as a host. You know, the guys that show you your tickets and all that shit. Like, you know, show you where you sit. But they moved my office, so I couldn't do it again this year. But no, I'm not a football fan. And part of it is almost because of the Eagles fans. Like, I had a lot of problems when I'd be at the Phillies games, and like, especially when you think about, like, say 2009, 2010, 2011 even, like, you know, the Phillies had won the World Series, and the Eagles, you know, had not at that point won a Super Bowl or anything, and hadn't won even like a, you know, they won the championship back in the 1960s, right, like Tommy McDonald and all that. So it'd been a long time for the Eagles to have done something remarkable. And if the Phillies went down even by like 2 runs sometimes, you know, and these are years when you knew the Phillies weren't out of it, even if they were down by 5 or 6 runs, and they that stupid chant would start. A-G-L. And I was never a huge Eagles fan to begin with, you know, like, never a big football fan to begin with, but like, that just really killed the deal for me. Okay, where are you living now? You still in PA, or are you elsewheres? Yeah, I'm out in Delco. So if you're familiar with the Preston and Steve show, they they do the Bucksco Delco competition every now and then. Between Kathy and Casey Boy. Shit up. It shouldn't be that chunky. I already shaved it. What the hell? That was a big old chunk of something. Wish it came off the edge of the tube, I bet. some more. A little medium on there. This one's definitely a much more like ODB type painting at this point now. It's like I really like it raw. You know. Baby, I like it raw. From there, we're over here. If you're still here, I gotta ask, have you ever listened to the Preston and Steve show if you're from the area? So actually, I'm thinking about sending them a request just to see if they'll mind. See, I don't know really where I stand with them really anymore. I mean, I think I could still go in whenever I wanted to. I just can't anymore because I don't have time off to do it. But many moons ago, God, we're talking like 2007, I think 2010 for the second one. I did a comic book for them called The League of Extraordinarily Stupid Gentlemen. I was actually thinking about asking them if they wouldn't mind me, like while I'm painting, to put on like their podcast in the background. So, I mean, the ocean sounds here are pretty cool for this one, I guess, but just for something else to have, or people can listen to it. I can listen to it at least at the same time. Sometimes I feel guilty. You know, I'm playing, right now I'm listening to Hilary Hahn's new album because it helps me focus on this. And don't worry, should Miss Hahn see this, I'm not going to send you another painting, don't worry. It's a weird situation. I've mentioned it a couple times. I'm not going to say it again, but it's one of those quirky artist things. Lost connection to my own painting. Like, bloop. So I was like, alright, get it out of my house. So send it to New York. To live or die up there. It's not my problem anymore. I guess the likelihood of me going on a fugue-like state in a stream would be very unlikely, so I don't think I'm worried too much about what happened before happening again. I'm just going to give it a little looseness here. A little terp and just loosen it up a little. Some of it's a little thick. Like stiff. That won't work for anybody. Stretch it out a little more. That's what she said. Alright. beer. If you ever get the chance, I recommended it to my cousin Gary last night. It was actually, I guess, my first cousin once removed. Right? That's what your cousin's kids are to you? I forget. Yeah, and then my daughter and him would be second cousins. Yeah. Anyway. He was going to the Renaissance Fair today. I was like, dude, you gotta pick up the Blackwater Stout. It's like, you gotta try it. It's good stuff. Love it. Let's see if he did. I need a little more bloom. One more bloom should do it, right? Tiny, my buddy Davin went to school with this. Literally, if he saw this, he'd crap himself. I was just putting it right on the canvas. Look how thick it is. That's alright, we go a little bit over that order line. It's like, you know what, we're going to be coming back into there. 7:42, so we've got about an hour left. Let's see what we can do in an hour, huh? Got a little wet in there, it's still wet. Oh, look at that. That's alright, it's going to be down there anyway. Alright. That's probably what happened, is the one part had a skin to it, and then I popped it off, and then that's how babies are born. No. But I don't know what I'm saying there. Would it be better if I shut up more? I never know what to do. I always want to talk a lot in case somebody stumbles in here and then they don't see some boring ass just... But then again, I'm just boring and stupid, so I don't know if that helps or hurts things. A little bit more down there. Medium. Give it some textures. Move this around a little bit so I have some space to... I don't think it'll fuck the sound up too much. Might actually help. I might be popping everybody's ears on it. Alright, let's see what we got here. I think I'm gonna have to create a little bit of surgery here. Oh no, it's still wet. Look at that. Ah, sweet. It actually worked. Didn't work on the cerulean, but the cobalt seems to have some moisture still in there. Blue on blue, don't need to worry too much about the mixture being too, you know, like cleaning off the brush too much. Watched a video the other day. I'm gonna bring it back over this way a little bit. Watched a video the other day about it was supposed to be an art dealer talking about how he can determine what a good painting is. And I was cracking up at it because one of the things he said really made me laugh, because he said,
I can look at an artist and you know, the confidence of the brushstroke makes a good painting. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? If somebody's painting with absolute confidence, so that tells me they're a great artist. No, it tells me they're a pretty shitty artist, actually. And see, I can defend that point pretty easily. Art's all about discovery. It's all about trying to figure something out. It's problem solving. All right, how do you make this thing in front of you look like it should? Or how do you make that thing, you know, like if you're talking abstract, how do you make what you have kind of flowing in your head a little bit come up here? It's not that easy. Even when people say, like, you know, oh, abstract art, any idiot can do that. Like, no, it's not that easy. Believe me, even when I've experimented with it, it's like, half the time it doesn't work quite how I wanted it to. People don't understand, again, a lot of times, like when they think about someone like Jackson Pollock, Jackson would cut up his canvases after he, like, so he's still thinking about things, still trying to come up with something, in a sense. So, you know, like, okay, like, say this guy was watching this, alright, yeah, and he'd been watching the other episodes too, or whatever, alright. Well, that means he would have seen where I had all these other brushstrokes that, after I sat on for 2 days, I went, these were not right. These are, so I would not be a confident, you know, artist or whatever, by his definition. And I always point, I love my Manet quote, man. It's one of the best quotes ever. That art is like learning to, jumping in the water without knowing how to swim. Every painting. And it's about as accurate a statement as you'll ever get. Even like the top of the line guys, man. I'm telling you, they were looking for shit and they didn't know where to find it, so they just kept looking. And if I ever get my dream of people painting along with this, and you know, and again, it doesn't have to be this painting, but whatever, you know, I've said it a couple times. People just working on something similar, and we can show progress and talk about it, and talk about the aesthetics of it, interpretations, all that fun stuff. Never get to my dream level of that, which is what I would love this channel to become. Like I said, Bob Ross with a lot more profanity, basically, and a lot more interaction, where you can show your shit to me and the crowd here, both of us, you know, and we can talk about shit. But anyway. I guess again, my opinion is don't go into a painting and think you know what the hell you're doing. It's easier to fuck up that way. Figure it out. Work through it. Especially like if you're, like I said, unfortunately I'm not as fast as I used to be, so I have to think about things a lot, like I have time to think about things a lot more now. So it ends up being that things come in later in my head, and I was like I said, I was thinking about it, and I'm going, okay, the oceans are going to have a lot of dashes. There's lots of, like, there's the waves, and then there's, like, the little waves. You know what I mean? Like, there's all the little choppy bits on the water. And so it's going to, just by its nature, have many more dashes, and it's going to become very busy down there. And I was like, well, if it's really busy down here, it's probably going to be pretty busy down here as well, because there's another set of water here, and it's going to have a lot of reflections and ripples and all that shit, and there's the beach here, and we could do a lot of fun stuff on the beach. It's got the sandy nature of it. Like, the sky should cool down a little. The sky should be your spot to, like, You know what I mean? I used to say this in a lot more flowery tones before, but like I said, shit happened a few years ago, and all that's gone now. So you get the much more strange beast, which is the combination that it's the lead rat in me and the artist in me kind of smacking together. They used to be kind of different animals, now they're together. Read a fun article on rats, speaking of. That was fun today. Basically explaining how, yeah, you just, you don't ever want to think about them. You don't want to ever read this article, let's put it that way. I won't even share it because it was that bad. Of like, oh, I might not sleep again. Ever. Especially knowing how close to a swamp I live. It's like they're lovely areas, man. It has me paranoid, like, even though it was goddamn 17 years ago, no, 16 years ago. My wife and I went up to New York and we stayed in this, actually it was a pretty nice place. Found out the like Priceline or something on like a last minute, you know, oh okay, I guess we'll take your paltry $120 that you're offering for a place up in New York. But it was a pretty good place, it was actually in Midtown, it's nice. But the only thing was while we're sleeping, you just hear, hold on, it's gonna be really loud, but you hear that like all night through the walls. And I was like, oh, fuck, because I knew exactly what it was, you know. And fucking gopher-sized New York City street rats there, you know. I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with that in my head right now. Let's look here. Now we can start to like, I'm going to put these in a little more spaciously because we want them to have some stuff to mix into. Just to give it some tonal shifts. And again, we're actually going to go in with, I think, a little bit of the greens and stuff, turquoise green, turquoise blue, I mean. Give it a little more shifting nature. I had a chuckle. My wife and I don't think I didn't know about it until Saturday, so I know I didn't mention it on here. But I did mention how we've been watching the most recent season of Iron Fist, and we were near the end of it, and I guess news came down Saturday that it was canceled now, that Netflix is not making a season 3. But at the same point, all the social media accounts for Iron Fist popped up with a photo of Danny saying immortal, and there's still more to tell, or something. I forget how they put it. And so a lot of people are wondering if they're just Iron Fist is gone per se as a show title, but there will still be another show focused on Danny and Colleen and whatever, or multiple shows, or some of the Warren. People are pointing out that because one of the best things about this past season was the interactions between Misty and Colleen. If you watch the show, you know who they are. If you don't, oh well. Talk amongst yourselves. No, that's what the chat's there for. Just shoot the shit. Do whatever. And it's funny because my wife and I were like, yeah, it's like, this season was better. It was not, is it as good as Luke Cage was, or anywhere near Daredevil? No, it's never near those levels. But they did come with some interesting things at the end there, and it was like, I'd really like to figure out what's going on there. Like, there's a twist that they never did in the comics, so it's like, And as I said to my wife, I said, now that would be cool then, is that they cancel Iron Fist per se. And I said, but they create, a Daughters of the Dragon show. And then they move, say, Danny over to Luke Cage, and it becomes Heroes for Hire. They do shit like that. Now we're cooking. Now there's something to work with. So one can hope, I guess. Actually, no, we're just gonna try it with this. Here, just direct. About here, right? That's about right. Now look, again, I'm blending a lot more than I normally do on these things, but they're not necessarily going to be 100%. As I said, I'm mixing, on the canvas, or what's it called, al prima. I believe it's the terminology. Impasto al prima. Sounds like a fucking Italian dish. Yes, I'll have the impasto al prima. Ah, very good. You want the red or white sauce, huh? That's a horrible racist stereotype that you're doing there. It's like, give it a little greenish tint as we get closer to the horizon line here. And we're gonna hit back in with cerulean again in a couple spots, because a couple, like over here, it's a little too strong, a little too much white there, and that's alright. Pull this up a little bit up there to give it some. They'll probably end up going up with some like viridian up there. Well, turquoise blue will probably balance it out, right? We'll see. Again, I really don't know what I'm doing. It's probably another reason why I don't want anybody really painting directly along with me, because I don't know what I'm doing. Be driving you nuts the whole time. Like, why did we do that? Nah, you know what? I know you just spent 3 hours doing this, but don't do that anymore. We're gonna do this other thing. Step back a little bit because I'm like too close to that, so I can't really see. Like the light angle here to make sure you guys could see it hits me at a funny spot, and I can't really tell what the hell's going on over here. So I apologize if I'm in your way. I'm trying to. Guess that's one thing I will always give Mr. Ross credit for when he would have his show and shit. To be able to paint like, because he was always painting technically like this. If you think, watch his shows again, and think about how it has to be so that they can get a clean shot on that canvas, and you realize he's like basically like, I'm gonna paint this thing right here. Like, no, can't do that. And again, if I was that formulaic, I guess I would probably be able to pull some of that stuff off. I'm pretty formulaic, I think, but I'm not that quite. Yeah. Bum, 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 bum. Fresh head. Salute. That's good stuff. Anybody else dark beer drinkers? I love dark beer. Darker is better, man. Alright, let's hit that turquoise up a little bit. Let's see what we can look up in this area here. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's working pretty nicely, actually. That might have been just about perfect. And look, here's the thing. If we're going to think about the way it was versus now what we're doing here. The reality of it is, I probably could have just gone ape-ass with it. In other words, like, where it was, you know, not there yet. But if I kept, like, just going over, put in, you know, dashes of turquoise, dashes of cobalt, dashes of, you know, like, I probably could have gotten it to a point where it looked crazy. It would have been really busy, but it would have ended up being a nice, you know, you squint your eyes and it would have just been like the perfect tones. It's just that I think to myself again, it was just that it was too busy for when this is going to be busy too. And it was just a matter of, well, I like you to be able to squint your eyes and see the colors that I'm presenting as I want you to, you know, be able to like go, oh, that's there, and I didn't realize that, you know, but then go, oh, now it looks like that. Well, I like that idea. I'm still kind of doing that same concept here, just in a different way. And I don't think, though, that you should have to squint your eyes to find that restful spot, you know? You should be able to just kind of How much time we got? All right, we got about 40 minutes. And look, like I said, unfortunately, the way that it was just unfortunate timing that, I was doing that all on Thursday, and then I don't paint again until Sunday, and so there was a lot of time for it to dry out on me, and so the paint that was on here wouldn't have been any good. We would have had to go through it again anyway with a lot of the blue in order to lay a base down for the other stuff to mix in there properly, and I was like, it's easier. You know what? Let's just make this do this a different way, and we can probably wrap this part up tonight. And if not, at least tomorrow is only one day away. Don't bet on any of this stuff really, really drying out. The cerulean could give me some trouble because it's been doing that for a while now. But that's about it. I don't think it would have been too much. I think we would have been okay. Let's back in here a little bit with these things. A little darker here. I strip them off and put them back over here. Let's see. I will remind people, by the way, that there are posters for sale on twosocietystudios.com. They're of my view of tulips. Technically, it's a brother piece or a sister piece, however you want to refer to it. I'm not going to pick your pronouns. You do you. Anyway, but it's a sibling to this piece from March of last year. And it's they are right now selling for $12. I shouldn't say right now because they will remain $12. I'm not going to cause any. Not doing any sales because right now, if I sold every one of them, I'm not making much profit to begin with. But I'm trying to get some interest on prints and stuff. Look, I know my paintings are expensive because I won't sell them cheaply. Though I do sell them under what whatever the hell the artist's name is. It suggests that we should make, like, all artists should almost unionize, even a starting artist, not starving, starting. They should price their paintings like something this big would be like well over $3,000, $4,000 or something. I forget by his pricing. And force the market into accepting it, the new norm. Not like the guy on Cheers, but what's Cheers? Says the 20-year-olds on Twitch. But anyway, I figured the prints are nice. They're really good quality. The posters they're 12 by 18, so they're about perfect halfway, like half size. Cover shipping, that's all included. They're signed. They are numbered. There's only a run of 50 for this first run, and it says first run 1 of 50. Sold 5, so it's 6 of 50 would be the next one. So shipping is covered. It comes with a certificate of authenticity signed by me as well, and I don't know. I don't think I can make it any more of a bargain. Let's put that one. And still, like I said, and not lose money on the deal. I'm trying not to lose money anymore. My wife is getting quite upset with me when I go, I'm going to try this other thing. How much is that going to cost? Funny you should say that. Now, in her defense, she's already trying to think about money for our, like, 15th anniversary. She wants to go somewhere nice. Take a long weekend or something together. And honestly, we'll probably sit in silence. Yeah, it does. It's from actually. Is this one from the Philly show? What do you think? Yeah, this was from the Philly show. They had a Van Gogh portrait show back in like 2001, 2002, something like that. It's Van Gogh. It's his signature. If you pay attention, that's his signature. So a lot of people speculate the reason he signed his name as Vincent rather than putting Van Gogh on his paintings was there was actually another Vincent Van Gogh was born before him. It was his older brother, but he died I think during birth or very young, like only a few days after birth. And so he was buried, I guess at the family plot, and then when when the Van Gogh we all know was born, his parents named him Vincent again. And his mother actually would regularly go to the grave of the original one, and our Vincent would tag along. Yo, Mike, what's up, man? And he always kind of looked at it like it was like the perfect Vincent, and his signing of his name was designed as a way of like trying to lay claim to it. Like, if he was successful as an artist, then he could finally be the better Vincent. And there's a little psychology for you of my master. So I view it as a master-apprentice relationship with me and him. I'm his apprentice, separated by 100 years. Learn what I can, and well, she hasn't really said. She just wants to go somewhere different, though. She, But yeah, they were selling these hats at like I said, at the portrait show, and so I was like, I gotta get it. I gotta pick it up. And as far as I know, I'm the only person that has this damn hat. So, it always makes it nice and easy when I'm like going somewhere. It's like if I'm supposed to meet somebody, especially if I don't know them or anything like that. Like a few years ago, we were going to Wizard World Philly, and at the time I was big on the DC message boards. Like I talk there all the time, whatever, chat in there, and people were like, hey, who's going? You guys want to meet up and get some lunch or something? I was like, yeah, I'll be there, And I was like, tell you what, here's the easy way to find me. I put on my hat. It says Vincent on it, so it's like, it was much more yellow now. It's like a faded green almost, but it's like, I wear my Vincent hat. Nobody else has this. It's a black hat. It says Vincent in yellow. Yeah, this actually is. This is Wildwood from a few years ago when my wife and I were down there. But I was sitting there at the Albert Moy booth looking through some of the artist Jim Lee's stuff from his X-Men days and stuff, and like legitimate, like real paper, pages that he had printed. And I sitting there, and Jim Lee walks over and he's talking to Albert, and I'm sitting there going, like, I'm like freaking out, like, oh my God, it's Jim Lee, Oh my God, he's like, one of my favorite artists, oh my God. And my buddy Bongo talked me into going over to say hi to him. And so I go over and I say hi to him. He goes, hey, you're Menaceart! I was like, oh shit! It's like Jim Lee knows who the fuck I am. Oh my God. I'll be honest, I'm not much of a shore person. I'm pretty much doing this as a, like, like we go down. It's usually like a compromise situation. When we go to like any beach, whichever one we go to, my wife and I tend to alternate like our family vacation trips in our planning of them. So when it's like my year, we go somewhere with shit to do. And what I mean is like we go to a city or definitely like I don't want to say like a touristy trap because that's not really what I'm after, but I like to go to places where there's art museums and there's cultural things I can learn about. And then the alternate years when my wife goes, she likes to just rest on the beach and just chill out. And that's not me. I can't do it. I mean, I'm cool with like Wildwood's okay for me because at least there's rides. I can get on those. I'm pretty cool with that idea. But in general, it's like I can do a beach for like a day or two, and that's about it. And I want to leave. Or if they at least would, which they will not allow. Like my wife is not like, she's like, you're on vacation with the family. You cannot be sitting here painting. Like, if I could bring a canvas and easel with me, I'd be okay. But I just don't like roasting in the sun like that. I want to go out and do things. I always look at it like it's a big fucking world, and I would like to see as much of it as I can before I croak. I mean, hell, just this country alone, there's so much shit to do. A few years ago, we went down to, well, not down, I guess across to Chicago and stopped in Cleveland on our way out there. And just doing a little bit in both of those, I'm like, God, we didn't do enough. Like, there's still so much there that you can go to and do. And it's like, oh, fuck. So. It's the ADD though. It's like that's entirely what it is. I mean, if you really talk to anybody that has this, and we're all the same way. It's like I gotta go do something. I can't just sit. I need to do something. I can't just lay here. It was literally like part of my diagnosis when they were doing that was like the doctor's like, okay, so tell me about like your guys' vacations. And I was like, really? Like, okay. And they're like, what do you like to do on vacation? I was like, well, it's like we go to the store. How do you like that? So like, I hate it. I don't hate it, but I was like, I'm like, I can't do it for long. We go. Here's another. Let's see, I'm at 47. I was at 47 last one. I think I was at 47 last one. Still gotta get to that 50 mark. There will be a giveaway when I hit 50, by the way. I keep saying, I always want to say it. I want to make sure I get all my bases covered. Or the, what time is it? I got 20 minutes left to go, right? All right. Now I will say, I was going on about the beach earlier. As much as I don't like sitting at the beach very much, I love going out in the ocean. Like, when we went whale watching a few years ago, I was in bliss, man. I love being out on the boat. I can't sail myself, or motorboat or anything. Like a motorboat. The wife gets mad at me. Especially when it's in public. The sorry, you guys don't mind if I left my own shit, do you? Nobody's here. Anyway, it's a good thing she doesn't watch these. God, I'd be in trouble so many times. It's like when she joined Facebook, it ruined all my fun. I made up so many fake stories about it. Alright, let's take this brush off. This is not the one that's going to be this way. Let's try. Let's get this one go. He might do it. Oh, that's funny. Why do I think I hear my son's PS4 going? Well, it's my PS4, but if I'm here, it means if it's on, it's him. That's a quick path to an ass whooping at this point. He should be upstairs in his bedroom. Wait, it'll get worse, don't worry. Let's see this little one. I think this is feeling much better than it did. I still gotta go in again. I gotta hit some cerulean dashes in there. And I probably should have been hitting all of these with this smaller brush. Oh, no. Thought that would be the last trick. This is the last trick. Okay. Lost count. Oh, it didn't improve the color at all, huh? Sorry, I was just in with the, I was screwing around with the video settings earlier today, and I thought I'd fixed it, got it to be a higher resolution, but it does not look like it is. Alright. Sometimes I'm wondering if it's because the capture card and the Streamlabs thing say it should be 1080p, or it should be able to do it. Oh, what am I doing here? No, 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 no. What am I doing? What is that? What do you do? What is that? What is that? No, go away. Okay. I don't know what the hell I just did there. I'm still on, right? But it's only in 720 here. And I'm just wondering, is it because I'm not... No, because mics are in higher resolution than this. I have to look around and fuck with this capture card anymore. Minutes or so, and then it's time to break for The Walking Dead. I'll be back on tomorrow night at about 9:15. Good news is I should stop having even like Steam updates occur now during because that was happening, and I kept trying to fight them off, and it was being a pain in the balls, and I finally got Steam to like schedule a time rather than when I'm live. Because it won't do it if you're streaming gaming. That's nice of them. But it doesn't recognize that I'm not playing a game. Oh, that's nasty. Chuck. Something there. I was like, well, that sucks. Oh, I forgot to put up the reference photo before. Oh well. Unfortunately, my concentration is just really. It's too late to really start anything new. What am I supposed to do? Say to all these schools. Tried to fall asleep to this shit last night. This ocean did not work for me. So it's back to the thunderstorms tonight. Thunderstorms work. Ocean does not. I don't know why. Trouble finding a volume for it too, man. Down to like 3 and it's still really loud. And again, I guess that means I can deal with the ocean and love. Yeah, I can deal with being on a ship, but I could not deal with it being on a ship overnight. I don't know. I guess we'd have to find that out. I'd have to go on a cruise or something, but those cost a lot of money that I do not have. I know they don't cost a lot for like if I want to go by myself. But yeah, it's those goddamn kids. Always like, yeah, take us, Daddy. Don't leave us alone. You can't cook or you can't take Mommy with you. My wife doesn't want me going on those like single cruises. What the?
Did you mean play the song Sea Cruise in the style of Frankie Ford? Performance track with demonstration vocals. Single?
No! Cancel!
Canceling.
What the hell was that? Jesus Christ! This is a mess. Jesus. You said nothing that sounds like my name, but I'm going to ask you a question. Please someone tell me what the hell I said that triggered that. Please. I want to know. I want to know if you be my girl. My wife would probably have a problem with it. This is like, I think I painted like half my paints with this little brush actually. When I think about it, like all my stuff in college was done with this guy right here. It's got a funky curve to him too, actually, because of it. I was watching AWOL. One of the people I follow on here last night, and she talked about how she names this one brush George, and like, she's like, I don't know why I named him. I'm like, I never named my brushes. Did I name my brushes? But I know me, I'll end up like naming them like something really stupid. They'll be like, King Schlongfooter, come my brush. Dinglebert slap you back. me about that asshole who was like, oh, it's only if the artist has the confident brushstroke are they a good artist. I have been lack of a confident brushstroke, and I'm a terrible artist. Alright, maybe he's got a point. Like, one would think that has to be true, right? After all, I cannot seem to. I have like 2 humps. Well, no, I'll say I have 3 humps that I cannot get over. Alright? When it comes to trying to get followers, I cannot gain more than 140 followers on Instagram, it seems. The second I cross that number, I end up losing 2. I cannot seem to cross the 183 mark on Facebook, and I have not gotten past this 47 mark in a very long time. Like I said, I think I might have hit 48 once, but then I lost a bunch of followers. And I've only recently gained enough back to get to 47. So one must wonder then. Must be my terrible artwork right there. I cannot sell prints, and I cannot sell paintings online. I have trouble selling them in person. Have trouble getting shows. There we go. Maybe the guy's got a point. Maybe I am a bad artist. Oh well. I have but a choice to be a good artist or a bad one. Well, I choose the former. I cannot truthfully make a decision on whether whether I'm considered a liar. Alright, that's my goal. I wanna know if you would be my girl. Hey, hey, baby, I wanna know if you be my girl. then we're getting past the point where I can keep working. This isn't good. Okay, don't let this dry out down here. So we're gonna just keep pushing a little more. Alrighty. Getting there. Just a couple straight up, just horizontals. Just get a few pops in there. Yeah, I know there's not really anybody here, but here's the one more little fact, because we're talking about Vincent's signing of his name, as Vincent, earlier. Why it's on my hat, whatever. The funny thing is, for that family, for the Van Gogh family, or Van Gogh, did I say it right? Van Gogh. It sounds like a hairball. I say it properly to us Americans. America. Anyway, they don't have, like, they seem to, like, and it's not just because, Vincent became famous. In their family, it's like, if you go back a couple generations, there's a couple of Vincents before him. Like, it's like, they all they just kept recycling the name. Like, it's like they kind of, if you go through, like, you'll find, like, repeating names. Saw some, art history video or whatever on YouTube where somebody's like, the family clearly did not have very innovative names. It's like, okay, well, maybe don't go that harsh on them. Like, I don't know. You don't insult, like, someone that a lot of people consider the father or grandfather of modern art. Well, without him, you don't get the Favis. You don't get the really expressionism, abstract expressionism. I'm just saying. I think this was much better. There's a little more. This brush gave it like a little bit, it's like a bridge almost to the other tones. Alright. Wasn't running anything through it, so I just gave up on it. This just gives it a little. It's like a stepping block up to the darker, larger tones up here. And it's still kind of, I like to think, it still works with that idea that I was presenting on the last episode, where I want this to feel kind of like that's in the distance and this is coming forward. So, like, just put a little bit of this stuff up here and it should give me this sensation like of a bridging up a little bit. Rounds do always work better for me. And flatheads or even brights, which are kind of like shorter flatheads. They just don't seem to ever let off the brush like I want it to. Rounds do. But the problem with the rounds is the end always like fraying them really quickly. Gotta figure out something. That's all. Let me take a look back now. Let's pull back here. See if I'm done. Well, I'm not done, obviously. I'm not done, but, you know, at least we can call it for the night. Because I gotta get in and get cleaned up in 8 minutes, so. Next one is tomorrow night, 9:15 to 10:30. We'll see you, one viewer there, I guess. All right, have a good night. Later.